how can we be tactical in protecting each other, walking each other, watching each other's back. But then again, there's another issue. There's the issue of goals. If we pull together, what kind of goals should we have? What can we do? And who are our allies? And along that line, it's important to understand, again, what the main issues that were and the main powers we're up against. The Coastal Commission is in, and the City of LA. The City of LA is disputing with the Coastal Commission over the beach closure. That's why a lot of us have been pushed off the boardwalk, because the City of LA is now saying that the boardwalk is a city park all the way halfway out to the sand of the ocean. So they're pushing people off the sand, and they've been pushing us out here. That's the dispute, and the essence of that dispute is between the California Coastal Commission and the City of LA. One of the other things that is in the mix here of what's going on is, as Peggy has pointed out, this issue of where homeless people, according to the federal court, can now sleep in LA. The other, and we've already gone over that a little bit, there's the other issue that we talked about, those of us who called the press and put out a press release, talked to the press tonight, that is involved in this, is the changes, especially in the last year since Google moved in. Homeless people have been sleeping on this street for 50 years or more. Hippies used to sleep on this street. Larry Field, the owner of this property, including the Gold's Gym property, they put out a press release announcing that this was going to be a Google campus. It's going to actually be Google's largest Southern California headquarters.
Since this street just happens to be in between this big office building where people inside can't even tell what's going on, and public storage where no one is, it's logical that this is where people would go to sleep, since it's not next to a house where we'll wake people up, or offices, yeah, it's 10 feet from any doorway.
How can
so
we
why
be
is
less
it that
obtrusive?
we can't? Why is it that we can't simply occupy the street that is? And I use occupy as, you know, a general living there term. Why are they trying to run us out of the very few places in the city where we're actually not bothering anyone?
Because the property here is very valuable. It's worth more than we are, you know. And people have to realize what we're dealing with here. It's a worldwide phenomenon. In Greece, they're rioting because they're trying to cut the minimum wage. Imagine that. Frankly, this is class warfare. It's going on worldwide. It's what the Arab Spring was about. It's what the Occupy movement from Occupy LA to Occupy Nigeria is about. You know, and I consider that it is the last best hope for humanity. You know, just, you know, it falls on us that are revolting, that are not going along with the system, that are organizing in every land and in every language to take back this earth from this kind of bullshit. You know, so I applaud what you're doing. We need to keep doing it. We need to expand it. You know, and no, we got the whole world on our side. I saw a tweet, it sticks in my mind because it was retweeted yesterday like 15,000 times. You know, and it's kind of pathetic for America because it said, you know, Germany strikes, Greece riots, Syria bleeds, and America watches the Grammys. Well, we're not about watching the Grammys, and people even in this country are starting to wake up that that's bullshit, and we need to get with what's real. You know, this is real, and they can't kick us off the sidewalk. We need to expand the places where we have to live. We need to start taking over some of these abandoned buildings, you know, and living in them and doing other things to create our own communities and sustain ourselves, because they don't give a shit. They will let us all die.
Guys, this is Clay Claiborne. He does documentaries. He's worked with Martin Sheen. He's also a blogger with WikiLeaks. And a Vietnam vet.
No, I'm not a Vietnam vet. I'm a vet of the anti-war movement. I went to jail my first time.
So the reason I mentioned the importance of Google here is they're one of the people that many of us are talking about appealing to for their help, because they've been very quiet for the last year as the city of LA announced suddenly after decades that the beach is going to be closed from now on in Venice Beach, starting at 10 o'clock at night. They have been very quiet in the last year as a lot of folks in the Oakwood neighborhood who are poor, middle class, black and brown folk who are refusing to sell out their homes and move away, they're suddenly saying that they're starting to get code enforcement people from the city of LA coming around and citing them for minor infractions like the paint is peeling on their garage or their fence is missing a few slats. And the city of LA is doing this, a lot of people believe, because of these 1,200 Google employees that are going to be trying to find, to snap up some housing here. Google has not said anything about that yet. And now the police are announcing these raids on Google's basically future, as Eden points out, future backdoor. Maybe as soon as by the end of this year, this will be actually not just digital domain, but their backdoor. The plan is, a lot of people like David Ewing, who's got a lot of experience with City Matters, understand that buildings like this, storage places, are what they call property banks.
Land banking.
Land banking. These are the kind of buildings that when a city is looking at changing its topography, if it's looking at changing its local density or whatever, they say, we've got a storage space there, but we can put the storage space anywhere. We could tear down this storage space and put up a mini mall, a multi-story apartment building. So this area is hot for development. Google is hot to expand here. Who knows? Next year, Google may be announcing that their campus is going to be getting even bigger, and this public storage may be gone. So Google, the Jones decision, and the California Coastal Commission are three of the major aspects of this thing that has brought us all here tonight, in addition to our homelessness. And these are things that starting tonight and over the next course of a few days and few weeks, however long this takes, that we can start pulling together those of us that are tired of being chased from city to city, tired of being told that we don't have a human right to food, clothing, and shelter, tired of being told that you can you have to go work 40 hours for a week at a job that isn't going to pay to get you an apartment or even enough to couch surf in LA. And are saying that we're going to try to take a stand, and if it means we got to go to jail like Martin Luther King or Cesar Chavez or Mahatma Gandhi or Mumia Abu-Jamal or Malcolm X, bring it on. That's anybody else want to take it up from here?
Hey, I was at Occupy LA. I was at Occupy Wall Street. My name's Jeff Clark. I'm the California Clemency Project. I do initiatives. What's happening right now, what just happened in Venice, is actually we had the Parks and Recreation Department with us in Washington.
Could you speak a little louder?
But they got that guy that was in charge of Parks and Recreation was on our side. But now he is out of there, and they put the Department of Monuments in charge of the Parks and Recreation. So the guy he's totally against us completely. And in Abbott, as far as Venice goes, Abbott Kinney, in his will, left the water side of the boardwalk for freedom of speech and art. So if anybody's griping about vending, going downtown and buying sunglasses over there, you can't sell anything of use. But you can vend your art, and you can do freedom of speech until last night, when I was down there petitioning after sunset. I had a petition booth set up, which is a governmental act, and according to Abbott Kinney, I can have freedom of speech on the west side of the boardwalk. Yet the police were polite enough to make me take my table down and make me put my petitions away, and told me that petitioning was vending. And in Black's Law Library, I don't think petitioning falls as a vending. I was giving away some neck lanyards, if anybody wants one. I got about 100 of them over there. But the cops still made me pack up. I packed up without arguing with him and just stayed there. And he went down about 20 feet and he just sort of sat there, and then he came back and told me I had to get a copy of the ordinance. Now, if anybody's willing to go with me on this city ordinance that goes along with what's happening in Venice Beach, I'd like to have them defined. I'd like to have that man over there define to me what the difference between petitioning and vending is, and what the difference between peaceful assembly and creating a nuisance is.
I mean, because we're prepared. We got cell phones going, cameras and everything. So, I mean, it's tons of witnesses.
I just want to say we'll be back out here tomorrow night. One of the tactics that I think would be good is if the police come out here to arrest people tonight, is that not everybody get arrested. Some of us should leave and come back tomorrow night. And let's have another meeting like this tomorrow night.
I think it would be a really good idea. I see people out here still, people sitting alone. There's one with a developmental illness type issue. I tried to talk to him about sitting alone, calling for witnesses, stuff like that. He couldn't retain it. I think that and there are people sleeping, with beds, spread out. So I think it would be really good for us all to be cohesive and make sure that each person knows what the specific legal phrases are that you can say to the cops that can expedite the process and prevent you from being arrested or harassed, and how to handle it if you are doing something like sleeping, if these people that are sleeping know what they're dealing with, so that they're not just woken up and having to grapple with it, cold like that. So I think it'd be good to look out for the little fringe stragglers.
Here we have a monopoly on property in this country, and the city says, you've got to pay them taxes to own it. And there's a bunch of reasons why that really isn't the case, but assuming you're in touch with your common law rights, there's no reason why you should have to pay taxes to own anything. Nonetheless, what we're looking at here is the gentrification of Venice. This is what the neighborhood council is going to have a discussion on, what they call Silicon Beach. This is what they're hoping to do, is basically push everyone to Skid Row. Now, I would suggest that the way Gandhi beat the SALT law was he basically had people defy it. Said, fine, you're going to have to arrest us all. We're all going to resist, except we're not going to be violent when we resist. We're going to be passive. We're not going to help you arrest us. We're just going to tell you we're going to break the law and then make you enforce an unjust law. And that's a form of nonviolent civil disobedience, which I think everyone here should be ready to engage in.